Hey guys, I'm back with another 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should. This one's a little bit behind when I meant to do it for the reasons of there's been a lot of cool stuff on, so I've been doing that. I'm going to grab some records behind me though, and we've got a ton of cool stuff. Nice mix of, heavy black death, so stick around, it's going to be cool. First, we have Colombian death metal royalty. We have Masacre. I'm not 100% sure that's how you say that. This is the Olo de Violencia EP and the this one with a really long title that I'm not going to try and say in Spanish. But yeah, these guys are killer. They formed in the late 80s. They're from Medellin. Sorry, again, not a Spanish speaker. The infamous capital of the ultra metal scene of the 80s and early 90s. Yeah, I saw these guys recently supporting Adoria, and they were just insane. If you like your death metal with plenty of like the evilness of black metal, still plenty of the thrash spirit in there. These two EPs from 91 and 93, I think, are the band's finest releases, along with the debut album Requiem. But yeah, Massacre, not to be confused with the massive American death metal band Massacre, of course. Really killer stuff. Nuclear War Now did this double EP reissue, which I like how you get both the artworks. It's just one EP per side of the disc. It's killer stuff. If you like your cult South American death metal, you'll like it. Next, we have an Austrian band. We have Eisenhand. Now, these guys are in a whole bunch of bands. So if you're familiar with Kringer, Hagzissa, Death Racer, like they're all killer bands that these guys are involved with. But for me, this is the cream of the crop, and the Fires Within album. It's very wild heavy metal. It's got a bit of punkiness to it. Got that kind of new wave of British heavy metal where it's got just that tail end of punk creeping into the sound, but it's definitely not like a crossover or anything like that. But just think of bands like Tank and Exciter and stuff like that, but with a more Anglo feel to it, I guess. Modern bands, I guess, Obnoxious Youth is probably a point of reference, I guess, who I really like as well. But yeah, this just is like running free heavy metal, like great summer music, great driving music, or just doing wild shit. I really like this album. It's another one of Dying Victim's triumphs, of which there are many to speak of. And the next release conveniently is one. And also an Austrian band, we have Venator. And this is their Paradise EP, which is reissued with some demo material and covers. One new original song and two covers. There we go. I love this EP. The band's full length is killer, and this EP for me is it's my favorite. I love both, but this is what I'm going to show today. And I think if you like your catchier heavy metal, more in the ballpark of like Accept and those kinds of bands, this is a band that just really gets that feel of kind of being catchy, but without verging too much on poppy. It's not overproduced. It's not soft feeling. It's not like a plastic production. They're killer live as well. I saw them at Metal Magic in Denmark, and these are just a really fun, great heavy metal band that are just, great songwriting abilities. Next, speaking of Denmark, we have Kamp with their self-titled 10-inch EP. Two of the four songs have the words heavy metal in them, which immediately made me like them. They were just one of those bands I was getting out of the tent at Metal Magic Festival in Denmark, and I think they were the first or second band of the morning, and I just heard some great kind of speed metal coming from the outdoor stage, and obviously flocked towards it, and these guys were just put on a phenomenal show. Had to pick this up when I was back in the UK, and yeah, really cool stuff. This is very raw kind of. I wonder if it was like a rehearsal recording or just a very basic like 8-track or something recording. It's rough around the edges, and it kind of feels like how they felt live. So yeah, I really like that about this release. And yeah, if you like your good crazy heavy metal, those guys are involved in a lot of bands in the Danish scene as well, although my mind has gone a bit blank on that one. And now, finishing rambling about Metal Magic, this year Abysmal Grief was one of the best bands of the festival. Being from Italy, you've got Mortuary Drape, Bulldozer, Death SS. You have all these amazing bands in your blood, and Abysmal Grief, that blood kind of boils over. These guys perfectly have that horror, cult, black, doomy kind of a feel going on. They were incredible live. One of the best live shows I've seen this year, I'd say. Yeah, all their albums are good. I really like the Ferretri one. I still need to pick up some of the LPs, actually. I just have this 7-inch that I bought from the Denial of God frontman who put it out, I believe. And yeah, so it's the main song is Celebrate What They Fear, the A-side, and then the B-side is a cover of Chains of Death, which is probably the greatest Death SS song, also covered by Writhen. That seems to be quite a good song to cover. This is just, it's one of those 7-inches that just feels like a dusty old relic of evil metal that, you know, you play it and something is going to happen. I really recommend this one if you like your doomier black metal or blackened doomy metal, however you want to put it around. Next we have some great stuff from Father Befouled. Sorry, the glare is quite bad on this because it's quite dark. This is the Crowned in Veneficum Beneficium album. They've got a lengthy discography. They've just put out a really good new EP with an Abhorrence and a Morbid Angel cover. So definitely keep up to date with Father Befouled. 3-piece scorching death metal in the vein of Rotrevor, Incantation, Funebrarum, Disma, those kinds of bands. Just evil, big sound. I hate terms like cavern death, but if that's a term that you're familiar with, this band would not contradict such a phrase. Just great production, great malicious kind of arcing songwriting, really cool stuff. Now we have another tape, very different region of metal. That was on Everlasting Spew for anyone interested. We have Writhen Hilt from Saxony in Germany. This is one of Jawbreaker Records from Sweden, one of their best releases in my opinion, and this is a label that's put out a lot of killer stuff, especially the first Amethyst EP, which is, you know, one of my favourite records of the last few years even, and the new album is killer too. I'm sure we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, this is the Ancient Sword Cult EP. I believe they've just put out another demo tape or promo tape or something, but just great epic heavy metal. You know, they have the US kind of epic heavy metal spirit, perfectly nailed, early Manowar, Manila Road, Omen, all those great bands. This is just, you know, swords clashing, get your chainmail on heavy metal. Now on to the last few things. We have some CDs for the more digitally oriented. We have first Possession from Belgium. This is the 1585 to 1646 EP. This is one of those bands where they have like just a few EPs, one album. It's a very kind of sparse discography, but the quality definitely makes sense. Like the quality is lesser because the quantity is lesser because the quality is so great. Just very evil black and death metal with a bit of doominess to it too. Themed generally around I believe this EP was themed more around the Vatican's chief exorcist, or maybe that was another one that I read in an interview. It's one of Invictus's bands, so you know anything with the Invictus logo is just going to be great in my personal opinion. Yeah, Possession, part of that great underground Belgian scene, of which there are many cool bands that I've spoken about before and will speak about in forthcoming episodes. Now we go to Sweden. We have the new album of Helvetets Port, which is, of course, the gates to hell or Hell's Gate, either or, on High Roller Records. This is the band's third full length called Warlords, and by far my favourite. I like the other two albums, but I think this one just shows their songwriting ability at its best. Their confidence is at an all-time high. Just it comes together really nicely. The opening song, Black Knight, immediately feels like a classic. The two Swedish songs, Hord för Överman and Helvete på Larfötter, like two of my favourite songs. They're one of those bands when they sing in Swedish, it just feels right somehow. But Mutant March, Wasteland Warriors, Golden Axe. There's so many great songs on here, and it's just a really fun, quirky, unique heavy metal album by people just live and breathe the late 70s, early 80s style. These guys are digging through the 7-inch bins at record stores to find some dusty old treasure of the past, and it sounds like they've found a few and it's influenced the killer album. So excellent work from Sweden's Helvetets Port. And now, last of all, we have Acid Mass. Some great black speed thrash on Morbid and Miserable Records, and thanks to Nick from Vicious Witch, who I believe co-released this or maybe did another format. Got this really cool artwork. Again, it's very black, so I'm apologizing for the glare, but this is just great fun. If you like Hellripper, Wraith, Bewitcher, those kinds of bands, it's straightforward. It just gets in, gets out with like half an hour of ripping, thrashy metal, which is what you want in something like this. And that is 10 more metal bands you haven't heard but should, or maybe you have and you're a real underground fucking maniac. Support Pockelgeep. This shirt is like one of my favourite things ever, so I'm really happy to have found a very good bootleg. Or no, not bootleg actually, sorry, it's an official one, I believe, from Burning Leather in Mexico. My apologies. But yeah, support the underground. The new Razor Forge should be announced very soon. It's going to be a 7-inch. I've approved the test pressings, the artwork proofs, everything. I've got the test pressings, so you know, the vinyl should be with me hopefully soon. I don't want to say dates and kind of fuck the whole thing and disappoint people, but it's got you know, it's a much better production for one. It's got real drums for part 2. It's got a very, 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 very cool guest vocalist from one of my favorite bands of all time. So yeah, expect real heavy metal cult on 7-inch, the most cult format of them all, of course. Yeah, news on that soon. I'm not gonna say when. I'm not gonna announce an announcement like some dickhead, but expect something very cool very soon, and hope you guys will dig it. I'm working towards Shrieks from the Abyss issue number 6, which is a way off yet, but is underway for you zine freaks. And yeah, there's some cool gigs coming up this month, some cool festivals. The end of the year is not going to be lazy for the real underground, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to and supporting these fine bands and labels aforementioned. Until next time, stay fucking metal.